Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Dad, Daughters, and Drinks, where you'll always get at least two of those three. Today, we have all three. I have managed to convince my daughters, well, one in this case, to come and react. There's going to be more coming later. So there may be, oh, that's kind of a cool effect on your drink there.
The green stripe.
Fun with green screens.
Yeah.
So she does not know what this is. She just saw a picture of the screenshot real quick and got excited.
I did.
She's a percussion player. She was a, what's a thing you were in high school?
I did 4 mallet solos and drum major.
Yeah, she was a drum major in the marching band and did all kinds of cool marimba type things. She even has a marimba at home. So she will really appreciate all of the stuff that we're watching. I reacted to this video once already, but I don't know what's going on in any of this kind of stuff. So you will. This is a traditional Indonesian music called gamelan.
Okay.
What do you think so far?
It's awesome. Okay. Would you want me to talk about percussion stuff?
Yeah. Like, what are you thinking when you're watching it?
Well, it's a mallet instrument, so it's my favorite. Sorry, I'm not as close to the mic. Really impressive that there's 2 people on one instrument, which is already hard. It's really good technique when obviously it is, but the whole performance part of it is really difficult, but also they're stopping the sound by dampening it. Mm-hmm. So one hand is mallet, one hand's like grabbing it to control it.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
Really fun. The bigger, kind of.
Do you have to do that with like marimbas?
It's not so much on a marimba because a marimba has a pretty short tone. So usually when you have to suspend a note, you actually have to continue hitting it for something wooden like a marimba or xylophone. You can do it sometimes with bells. Or a glockenspiel, or a vibraphone has the pedal, but it's most commonly done with cymbals. Mm-hmm. So, when they're rolling is usually when you have dampening or timpani.
The thing that I love about this is how quickly they're playing and dampening, in one spot while they're in another spot playing again already. That blows my mind. Yeah,
it's like playing another note. Dampening is very much part of the playing. Also, the lower, more sustained notes are the ones in the back using the really big mallet, which creates a different kind of sound on the same instrument.
Cool.
And also, it's I don't see any water, but it very much so sounds like sometimes for percussion you can use a glass filled with water. Shout out Diamond Tide, I love that song. And you can change the pitch with it. It sounds very much like a vibrating kind of water cup or something.
That's cool.
Is what it's reminding me of.
Now, this guy in the middle, I think he's the band major.
Yeah. Usually percussion ensembles will have a head or main kind of ensemble, depending on how big it is. Usually bigger ones will, though.
Right. familiar with this mallet shape that's kind of like pointy on the opposite end?
There are hammers used in like orchestral percussion, but usually it's used for really hard metal. So it's usually used for chimes, like or bell chimes, they're called sometimes.
So that makes sense that he's using them on these kind of metallic instruments.
And also it's interesting. The shape of the keys is very distinct because usually with marimbas and mallet instruments you have a very square rectangle shape, and usually
these
you
are
have
curved.
You have good practice on marimba to hit like not on the string, like in the mid, like there's a specific place, and it will make different sounds if you hit the edge. So it seems like they're like the instrument has designed.
When you say string, what do you mean?
So the way that marimbas are made, you have two bars, and the keys sit on top, and there's actually a string that runs all the way around and keeps it like suspended.
So are they actually hanging? See, I didn't realize because these are as well, and I was like, oh, that's a little different because I thought marimbas they were kind of like more locked down, but I guess it makes sense that they need to be able to vibrate.
There's a string that like goes the run, and if there's no string, then it doesn't vibrate the same way. But yeah, it seems like the keys are almost shaped so that they're able to hit the edges, because it seems like they're doing that more when they're doing quick stuff and do quieter stuff. So I don't know that that's the case, but that's what I'm inferring.
Got it. All right. So, I've been learning some about Indonesia, and so there's a lot of there's multiple islands, and there's like 700 languages, and all these different kind of cultures within the country, and there's I think 3 main types of gamelan. There may be others, but there's 3 that always come up, which are from Bali, Java, and Sunda, and this is apparently a like Balinese version of gamelan.
Okay, hold on. I want to say the most impressive part for me is definitely not the playing, because playing, if you have a really good internal rhythm and you know all the notes, it will fall in, but a lot of for like the main instrument, I don't know what the instrument's called, like our movements are very synchronized, and that is not natural. Like people will change keys in a very different way, so it's very rehearsed, and that's the hardest part for me is like it's just really, really impressive. All that is that the same type of instrument that's making the new noise? Is he just using different sticks on it?
I don't think so.
Okay,
but I'm not sure.
Okay.
The other thing that's interesting, and I haven't dug into this theory too much yet, but I want to, is the scale doesn't use like a standard scale, which leads to like a lot of really interesting kind of dissonant things. And so there's a lot of music theory things you can watch on the scales that they use and how they line up versus like traditional scales. A lot of
different scales, which I'm not classically trained or anything, so I don't know. But I know that a lot of different scales, they don't have 12 notes. They'll have notes between the 12 notes called semitones and stuff.
Yeah.
And also a lot of my most experience would be with something like a steel drum, where it does have like in the 12 notes, it doesn't have all of them. It'll have like a different mix depending on. So it's very possible there. Who knows?
Yeah, no, there's one video that a guy is playing a I forget what the name of the guitar is. There was a name for it. Some sort of tonal guitar that you can apparently play gamelan on, and each string basically had its own frets in its own locations. So it's not like straight up and down across all six. It's just like this mishmash of. In some places they lined up, and then in other places they were just not lined up at all.
You can also see pretty clearly here that some of the keys are different, like widths on different instruments.
Yeah.
Which affects. Oh, that's nice.
It's cool, right?
Yeah. He's an instrument.
What was that little?
The guy on the left they look like kind of hand cymbals, and you play them differently. I thought they were shakers earlier, but that is not the case. So I saw the like little cymbal plates and got tickled.
Yeah.
Also, hand percussionist, awesome.
thing I'm still not entirely clear on what the hallmarks are of the different like styles, like the Java versus Bali. But one thing I've noticed in my limited exposure, I've listened to this. There was one I listened to this morning that was all three styles. It was actually from Budapest, Hungary. It was a group of, might have even been students, I'm not entirely sure, doing all three of the different styles kind of as one long piece. And then there was one that I listened to and I didn't react to it, but it was, I think it's pronounced Witty, the bass player from Voice of Vachaprot. Apparently she listens to a lot of Sunda, Gamelan while they on tour, and other band members give her a hard time and stuff because she's always listening to it. And so I listened to one of the pieces they say that she really likes. And it seems to me, at least Sunda, and again, I'm very, limited in my exposure, seems like it was a little bit more woodwind, not lead necessarily, but there were longer parts of like melodic woodwinds, as opposed to here where it feels like it's more like an accent, to everything else that's going on at the same time. But the difference between, like, let's say Bali and Java, and that's assuming I'm even right on the Sunda, which maybe I'm not, but the difference between Java and Bali, I'm not entirely sure at this point.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that I did was very melody and rhythm driven. So I haven't done a ton of stuff like this, but the stuff I have done like this is really, really enjoyable, like the super textural percussion stuff.
Cool.
I can't tell if when they're doing the super fast notes, if one person is simply moving their hand that fast,
or if they're like interleaving.
I can't even decide which one's more impressive. It's really hard to move your hand that fast.
I know what you mean, yeah. Now I did notice, and I think this in the there's a really cool section in the Hungarian, not Hungarian, right? Budapest, Hungarian, yeah. Where, and there were fewer instrumentalists. There were only one person on each instrument instead of multiples, and they had a lot of good camera views and things. But there was one part where it slowed down a little bit, and there was clearly the guy who was playing like the bass equivalent, I don't know, the lower notes with the bigger mallets. He was playing like on the downbeat of one only, right? And then there was another instrument that was playing on like 1 and 3. And then there was another instrument that was playing on 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And then another one that was doing the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And it wasn't necessarily obvious that they were doing that, but when they started showing the people, it became a little more clear to me. And then when they started speeding up, it was like, holy cow, that's really awesome the way that all works together when they do it like that.
And like that kind of feeding rhythm is so hard. I did a percussion ensemble with it for my senior year, and it was easily harder than anything I did with 4 mallets.
Interesting.
Yeah. And they have a heartbeat guy in the bottom right who's just been...
Is that what you call him?
Well...
Is that your term for it?
the percussion's the heartbeat of band dad.
But he's the heartbeat of the heart?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's been pulsing the tempo the whole time.
Got
Hardest job. I say very lightly because I've never done any of this.
He's like the human metronome?
Yeah.
Basically, got
yeah.
it. Cool. And that was the other thing that I noticed about the guys in the front, is they're the ones that can't actually see the band leader, for lack of a better term.
Well, it's not really the band leader so much as it's kind of like it would be like the head violinist to like, he's not the conductor.
Right.
But usually they'll have like a solo part, or will start passages like he did here when he started playing and everyone else joined in.
Right.
So it's not so much like a head as it is kind of... It is a head player.
A leader
but
amongst equals?
Yeah.
Who's got a few extra little tasks?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he's also the one that really smiles more than anyone.
really delightful. That was great. I will say this is also, the instruments are strung up very distinctly. Can you go back a little so you can see one of them?
Like when they zoom in, or
yeah, like one of the So because usually with
you mean like the way the string is running through here with these?
Because usually the way it is with a lot of the wooden mallet instruments and stuff that I play is that there's actually a hole drilled through the bar. So when it's strung up, it's really tight and keeps it in place. But these are strung almost like the top. Right. So they're much looser, and I wonder if that has a factor in like
how long they ring
and the playing and stuff. That was just an observation, but
I knew she was going to like it.
Yeah, I do. I really like it.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching her enjoy this. And we will see you all again on the next one. Thanks. Bye.